Good evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. Tonight, if it's Wednesday, you know it's all about politics 101. And let's face it, the last few weeks we've seen literally a scam a week, a scandal rocking this entire government. And I tell you, we thought we had seen a lot when we heard about the NYS scam, 1.67 billion shillings stolen. And then we're hearing there's other scams, like the health ministry scam that could total something like 5.3 billion. What's going on? I think it's time for us to call it and like any cancer, it needs to be tackled aggressively. And we need to do that from the get-go. That's why tonight, my guest is a man who literally shoots from the hip, calls it like he sees it, without fear or favor. He's been as outspoken against this government as he has against others. He's been spent time in and out of jails that he can't even count. That's right. And yes, he's the man behind the vultures and the pigs and the coffins, and the man who speaks up at public functions and castigates our leadership. He is outspoken, he is an activist, but he's also a photographer. In fact, he's got a book out that, I tell you, I've been looking at it the last couple of hours. We're going to talk about this a little later. It's called Unbounded. And the best way to know about an individual is to read about him. This man, his life, you have to read about it. This book will not be available until the end of the month here in Kenya, but when it does land, which will be in every bookshop in town, you need to pick it up. Recently, he spoke out or called out against the deputy president, accusing him of a number of things, including murder, believe it or not. The deputy president sued him for defamation, and the case is in court. We'll hear more about that. That's what he does. He speaks out, he speaks loudly, and he gets in trouble every now and then. In fact, tomorrow, Thursday, November the 3rd, he has a march beginning at Freedom Corner. And he's urging all people to come out because he has a message for the president that has to do with corruption. That's why our hashtag tonight is State of Corruption. My guest is none other than Boniface Mwangi, whose Twitter handle is at Boniface Mwangi. Mine is at Koinange Jeff. Hashtag again, State of Corruption. And I must add at this point, since this is going to be one of those kinds of shows, disclaimer. If you didn't see the disclaimer at the top of the show, I'm putting a disclaimer out now. The views expressed are not those of myself or indeed KTN or Standard Group. They are the views of my guests.
Jeff,
I have to say that, my brother. You know,
why?
I've been to court before.
The truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth.
The
and
truth doesn't change.
And it hurts.
Yes.
And you are not afraid to call it for what it is, aren't you, buddy? You're not afraid, huh?
You're not afraid, Jeff. Fear is a normal thing, but you need to overcome your fear to do the things that you want to do.
Okay, corruption.
Yes.
And I know, and I mentioned this at the top of the show, it's a cancer. It's ridiculous. It's gone beyond comprehension now. I mean, look at today. Look at former PS Mangiti. Look at yesterday, Josephine Kabura saying she's withdrawn 100 million shillings cash.
In paper bags.
In paper bags, and she's walked out of a bank. Hasn't paid taxes, was paying people.
Who was he paying? But the moment I walked in here and he gave me a hug, I had to check my wallet. You can't trust anybody.
Even me.
Yeah, nobody can. You know, the president went to Israel and said, Kenya, great thieves. But beyond that, Kenya is a great republic, and I love this country.
Yeah.
And there's so much potential. Today, Kenyan doctors at Kenyatta Hospital separated the conjoined twins.
I saw that.
Yes.
Incredible story.
Very good story. We are hardworking people. We are very resilient. We pay our taxes, but we don't know where our money goes. That's the problem.
And of course, it must bother you, Boniface, when you read stories every day in the papers. And you know, Kenyans, we speak out, we raise the flag, and then what?
No, do we really speak out? I think there's a lot of the fear that we have in this country. We're afraid of speaking out to the powers to be. We're afraid of saying the truth as it is. We're afraid of speaking out when, I'll give an example. They say that the past 1 year, about 50 politicians, some of them are governors, some of them are members of parliament, have bought choppers. We know how much you pay our members of parliament. We know how much you pay our governors. Where's the money to buy choppers coming from?
And we know how much a chopper costs, plus minus.
About 200 million plus. So that means you have to work about maybe 30, 40 years to be able to buy a chopper. You're spending that money. And so we need to ask ourselves, why don't we audit the lifestyles of our leaders? Why don't we have a national dialogue on corruption?
We had one the other day.
I saw you there.
We had one.
You had a joke at State House.
Oh, come on, Boniface. Why was it a joke?
I think the blame game wasn't helpful to anyone.
True.
I don't think we need to blame, don't think the president has the right to shift blame to other people or other institutions. The president has the political power and the political will to do things if he wants to do that. When he wants to pass a new law, he can go to parliament. He has the tyranny of numbers to pass a law that he wants, that favors him, or a law that actually will benefit the administration. He has done that in the past. He was able to send Matemu home, a commission that actually, there was a dialogue about it. He was able to send Kimayo home. He called him, Kimayo resigned. He was able to send Gishangi home. Gishangi resigned. No, Gishangi was early retirement. And my point is, if the president is committed to fight corruption, he can be able to do it, because the president has the backing of 44 million hard-working Kenyans who want things to change. Because we're not happy. I walked from Kisumu to Nairobi, literally, and we walked for about 14 days. And along the way, we met farmers who were working and they could not sell their produce. We met milk farmers who had cows and they kept cows. And when they sell their milk a liter at 19 shillings, but it's all 100 shillings in Nairobi, where does the money go to? The cost of corruption means that when you go to the hospital, you can't get medicine. I met a teacher in Kericho who was out for 35 years, but when she retired, she could not afford to pay her medical bill. Where does the money go to? What are we doing about this woman?
And yet, when we hear people stealing 1.67 billion, Boniface, and we don't do anything, how come this woman wasn't arrested when she left Parliament buildings? Why wasn't she picked up?
The woman is a front for some people. Josephine is a front for some people.
So why doesn't she say who she's a front for?
She fears the person who sent her than the law. And this is how it works in this country. The whistleblower gets into trouble. The whistleblower gets arrested. And she's just a pawn in a bigger game. And the question is, why is the executive, the judiciary, and the police not going after the kingpins of corruption? Because the kingpins of corruption are in government. If you look at the people who are fired for corruption, they're still earning their salaries. And they're thieves. We need to even stop saying corruption. It's stealing. It's stealing. They're thieves. But they haven't been arrested. They're busy campaigning to become governors and MPs and MCAs. Why have you allowed ourselves to come to such a low level that where someone who can never allow to marry your daughter or get married to your son, you give them your votes, or give them the chance to come to a public platform to come and spew hate or lie to us? Why are we electing the corrupt? Why do we give them a chance? In Spain, it's a good example. In Spain, there was a crisis. The people who stole and caused the collapse of the banks could not be served by waiters in a restaurant. They refused to serve them.
Yeah, but that would never happen here.
Because we glorify the corrupt, we glorify the rich. We have a joke here, it's an African joke, which is very bad, that the rich man fat doesn't smell. And that means when someone steals a lot of money, it doesn't bother us. But I also think as civil society and as activists, we have failed to educate Kenyans what 1.6 billion can do to this country.
Yeah.
The people who have no jobs, unemployment is very high in this country. About 25 million people who should be having jobs, 11 million of them don't have jobs. If they could understand what that money could do in their lives, things would change. But they don't understand it. If you don't have a job, you don't understand that you pay taxes when you buy unga, or when you go and buy a soda, or when you use a matatu, there's fuel levy. They don't understand that. And that's the problem. There's no connection between the poverty levels and the corruption because your average voter doesn't get it.
So what happens to Josephine Kabura? Does she become a heroine? Is she a hero now?
Josephine will become like Kamlesh Patni, who when during the Golden Bud Commission, people asking for her autograph. People want to become her. It's a big joke in this city. Oh, Josephine, she's a meme. She's famous.
Yeah.
And that's how we are. You remove your clothes, you strip naked, you take some photos, you become famous. We become a society where people like Wangari Maathai are not heroes. Or Joseph Mwangi, who was the Golden Bud whistleblower, they're not celebrated. They are shunned. This country, give me a name of one hero that you know of, that you can actually say it's in this country.
The late, great Wangari Maathai.
But do we talk about her?
Hardly.
You see? And when she was alive, she was called a mad woman.
Yeah.
She was vilified by society. She was called a single bitter woman, or a single mother was very bitter. So it's this, as a country, we need to change our values. I think we need to have a national dialogue on corruption. We need to have a national dialogue on values because as a country, we lack values.
Yeah.
And I also think we need to inculcate courage in our lifestyles.
Okay, your march tomorrow, Thursday.
Yes.
Real quick, what is it about?
So we have come together. The president spoke when he was with you. I saw you together. Family reunion. So the president spoke and said that he doesn't know what to do. And so tomorrow we're going to present a petition to the president and tell him, Mr. President, there are things that you can actually do within the constitution to fight corruption. And that is why we're asking people to join us. And if you can't join us, you can wear red wherever you are. At 11 a.m., honk wherever you are. So let's all come together and fight the vice that is corruption.
Are you going to present a petition?
We have a petition, yes.
Where are you going to present? State House?
You shall find out.
You don't want to reveal your route, your path?
No, there's office of the president.
Yes.
There's State House.
Right.
There are many places. Maybe Joseph Kenyua or Itumbi will come and pick it up. We don't know. Or the police will come in many lorries and say we're here to receive the petition on the behalf of the president. Then we'll hand it over.
Yes.
It's going to be a peaceful march.
Do you have a permit?
We don't need a permit. Read the Constitution. Article 37. You have the right to assemble, to picket, to petition. All you have to do is notify the police, which we did. They are notified. And we expect them to come and give us security and give us peaceful escorts to deliver the petition.
And basically you're saying, Mr. President, if you don't do this, resign. If you don't, is that basically what you're saying?
The hashtag that we're using is act on corruption or resign. And we're saying, Mr. President, I know he got 6 million votes. He's the president of 44 million of us. The country belongs to us. And there's a mandate from the people. But if he's unable to carry out his mandate, if he thinks he's incapable of doing his job or fighting corruption, if he thinks he's defeated, he can do early retirement. And we can have early elections.
You didn't say that. You're from Central Province.
Yes. Early elections. But he needs to try.
Yeah.
Giving up is not the right thing. Try and fight corruption.
Okay.
But I think his hands are tied because there's a feeling that he doesn't have relatives. He has relatives. And that's someone who said that. Maybe that's the problem, that when he's speaking about corruption, his family is like in the mix. So there's a bit of fear. What do I do? But you know what? He needs to forget about his friends and his family. If your hand is in the till and you have been caught in the till, go to jail. Arrest people, jail them. He said the jails are empty. Jail these people, man, for the sake of my kids, for the sake of your son, for the sake of my daughter. Let these people go to jail. They're destroying our country. Magufuli was in the country today. What did he say? Kenya is a great republic. It's a good country. What is dragging us down? Tribalism and corruption. We need to fight corruption. During the walk from Kisumu to Nairobi, one of the biggest complaints wasn't tribalism. The biggest complaint is corruption. Every single person is feeling the effects of corruption.
Yeah.
And we need to fight it.
Absolutely. Look, Boniface, you've been very outspoken, and you know, you're one of the most well-known activists, not just in Kenya, probably around the continent. And the question a lot of people were asking on Twitter earlier on is, who funds this guy? That's what they were asking. Who funds him?
The question always comes up, buy my book, find out. But seriously, funded to do what? Protesting doesn't need to be funded. You can do it by yourself. Jeff read my book. At the age of 11, where was I?
You're in approved school?
Yes.
You were in approved school?
At the age of 14, what happened to me?
In approved school?
Yes. You haven't reached that chapter?
No, I did. I went through it.
I was expelled by a minister.
You were expelled?
By what? A minister. So
Sharif Nasir.
Sharif Nasir. So who was funding me to fight for my fellow students' rights at the age of 14. Who's funding me? I'm well educated. I'm a very good photographer. I have a job at Power. I work at Power. The place where I work was funded by my own money. But we have partners who work with us.
Okay, so...
And the partners are known.
So no Western embassies fund you?
To do what?
Your activism.
You see, activism doesn't have to be funded. Let's get this right.
You're not answering the question.
No, I'm answering your question. It doesn't have to be funded. I run a space that has partners, that is fully funded. Power 254, we have Forum Sud, which is a Swedish organization, which is actually one of our partners. And the Swedish embassy helped us to build a theater at Power, a beautiful theater. John Kerry came to that theater, beautiful theater. We have, during the walk, we got support from the US Embassy.
Yeah.
The walk was about the Constitution.
I see you thanking everyone from the Swiss to the Swedes to the US.
To you.
You didn't thank me. I noticed.
I'm sending you the book. However, let's put this to rest.
Yeah.
Boniface Mwangi works every single day. I have a job and I pay my taxes. I go to work every day. The work that I do is not activism. I don't do activism every day. The office where I report to is not activism.
Oh, speaking of activism,
yes.
Look who just showed up.
Yeah.
Everybody shows up on this show.
And this is the time for me to walk out.
No, you can't walk out.
I can walk out.
Boniface, you can't walk out.
You invited me to have a discussion,
Look,
and I'm done with my discussion.
But we just can't have a one-sided discussion, Boniface.
No, you invited me and told me to come alone. No, you can't lie.
No, we have to have someone else. We have to balance things.
No, but you lied to me.
I didn't lie to you. I didn't know he was coming. Does he have a mic on?
Huh?
Does he have a mic on? I didn't know he was coming.
No, I can give him my mic.
Kachini. Don't be. Let a mic.
This man was accused of hate speech.
I know. That's why we need to talk about it.
No, so he can talk about it by himself.
Oh, Boniface.
Dude, man.
Boniface.
You come for love speech. Let him enjoy it.
No. He's abused me too on air.
Very good. Let him abuse you some more.
Boniface, you can't walk out.
Enjoy the show.
You can't walk out.
For real, man. For real.
Oh, that's not fair, man.
Enjoy the show.
That's not fair, Bonnie.
Let's proceed.
Moses Kuria, sit down then.
Yep.
I guess you elicit a lot of reactions from people. Huh?
It's okay. I belong to Kenya.
Mr. Hate Speech himself, Gatundu South Member of Parliament, and Boniface walks out.
It's right to walk in, out, left, up.
But he's been very outspoken against corruption, Moses. Do you agree with what he's saying?
I don't know what he's saying, but there has been a lot of talk about corruption, negative talk, positive talk, real talk, talk that's not there. We just have to face the issues candidly.
When he has a march tomorrow and he's calling on the president to either do something on corruption or resign, that's what he basically said.
Well, I mean, corruption is not something we can just hold an ultimatum about doing something about corruption. I think a lot of has been done about corruption. I think, and it's a very complicated issue.
What do you mean complicated? When you hear 5.3 billion shillings has been stolen from the health ministry?
Anybody can claim anything about something. And I'm telling you something. You know, Jeff, I'm a qualified graduate of accounting and audit. So I have the issues at hand. It's not something I read in the newspapers. And I came on JKL to comment about. I've gone there, looked at the document, and forgot I'm an MP, forgot I'm a politician, put my old cap of an audit and accountant that was trained by serious professors at the University of Nairobi, and gone through the issues. And vaporware. Nothing.
Come on.
Nothing. I'm telling you.
Come on. What do you say?
Okay, let's start from here. Let's start from here, NYS. Let's start from NYS,
Okay.
Kabura.
Okay.
We read stuff in the newspapers.
Yes.
We listened to the CS Waigolo and
Yes.
all those people.
Yes.
We commented on that and supported that. We were wrong.
What do you mean we were wrong?
We were wrong because, no, we were wrong in defending that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we were wrong because, you know, what came up later is that there are some serious issues.
Correct.
Around NYS.
There was a lot of stolen money.
A lot of stolen money. That's right. Or not money that was irregular and that kind of thing. Everything was not right about NYS. I think we learned a lesson, Jeff.
With NYS?
Yeah, we learned a lesson.
We didn't.
Some of us.
We did. Oh, some of you.
Yeah, some of us learned a
Okay.
lesson. The next thing you hear somebody shout fire in a crowded theater, do not just go jumping and commenting about it. I think what we've done this time is that we have been very meticulous
About the health ministry?
about the health ministry.
Okay, let's come back to that.
And by the way,
Okay.
I want you to be my witness for Kenyans. If anything is proven wrong, that went wrong on the health ministry,
Yes.
I will resign.
As member of parliament for
I
Gatundu
as
South,
member of parliament for Gatundu South.
you will
And I
resign?
want you to be my witness on behalf of Kenyans. Why? Because I'm not just depending on newspaper stories.
We can replay this tape over
Yes,
and over again,
yes.
saying Moses Kuria will
when
resign.
the rubber meets the road and it's proven that there was irregularity in that particular issue, I will resign.
Okay.
Why? Because
Hold-
it will be a letdown on my professional training.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you admit that your defense of Anwai Guru was wrong.
It was wrong to the extent that I should have gone in there and looked at the issues, looked at what was at hand before commenting on it. But on this particular one, you can take it to the bank that I have gone through the documents.
So these people we're hearing have stolen the money.
The 5.3, oh my, I don't know, we need to talk about this, about media and how, we are admitting that on particular instances we were wrong in not verifying things. If it turns out, as I am convinced, very much convinced, that there's nothing wrong with these issues of the health ministry, then the media also needs to take responsibility and apologize.
Okay,
Thank you.
hold that thought, Mheshimiwa. Let's take a break, come back and talk some more, because Josephine Wabura's testimony to Parliament, to the PAC yesterday, it was pathetic.
It was horrifying.
It was horrifying.
Yeah, it was.
And then Mangiti today.
It was horrifying. It was horrifying.
This is a circus we're watching.
Horrifying.
Let's take a break, come back. You are watching Jeff Koinange live. The Member of Parliament for Gatundu South, Moses Kuria, just walked in. Boniface Mwangi just walked out. That's live TV for you. As they always say, the show must go on. And we're going to go on. Keep tweeting. Twitter handles have changed. At Honorable, what's your?
Honorable Moses _ Kuria.
Correct. At Honorable Moses _ Kuria. At Koinange Jeff. You can also put Boniface Mwangi if you want. The hashtag state of corruption.
Hashtag walkout.
Walk out. Jeff Koinange. You're the one who's famous for walking out.
Yeah, he's just trying to steal my copyrights,
Jeff Koinange live from the Villa Rosa Kempinski takes a break. We'll be back. Maybe in a moment.